while mobile applications are becoming increasingly prominent in the world of business, the South African app PriceCheck was recently named App of the Year at the BlackBerry Achievement Awards. And joining us for a look at innovation in the application space is Arthur Goldstack. He's the MD at Worldwide Works. Thanks so much, Arthur, for joining us this morning.
Alicia.
So let's start off with our status, because it seems I've come across commentary saying Africa leads in the use of innovative smartphone apps that have not been used in America and Europe. And when you see a statement like that, it's almost hard to believe.
That is a bit of hype, I have to say, because you find innovative apps from everywhere in the world, and where you get the most apps, you're also going to get the most innovation. And precisely because we have a lot fewer apps coming out of Africa and South Africa, when they do make a splash, they make a very big splash because they stand out from the rest. And then it appears as if we're more innovative.
So we've really got to be cognizant of the reality as it stands on the ground right now.
Yes, we must be careful of hyping up what we're really achieving, because the problem with that is we then become complacent. We think we're great and we think we don't have to up our game. But boy, we still have a lot of upping of that game to do.
I feel like, talking of games, I feel like a rugby man who's now trying to talk about soccer, a game I know little about. So just take us back. This, what is it called? PriceCheck?
Yes.
What does it do?
He clearly hasn't used it or gotten on to it.
What does it do, and why is it so good?
You don't want me to explain why Jose Mourinho is the best choice for Chelsea for next season.
Okay, we can get to that.
PriceCheck allows you to do comparisons of a particular product's price across various outlets. And it's best known for its web presence, because on the web you can go in, type into a search bar the name of the product, and then you can drill down into further information about the product itself or go into the store itself. The app streamlines the process. It allows you on your phone while you're in store to check what the prices might be, typically online. The problem with PriceCheck is that most of the price comparisons are for online stores. And a lot of people still don't like to buy from online stores. But what it does do for them is it gives them a very good indication of what the going rate is for that product. If it looks like a bargain, then they go into their PriceCheck app and they can double check that this really is a bargain. If all the online prices are higher than what they're being offered in a store, then clearly the store offering is the best available. So from that point of view, it's a tremendously powerful tool for making a decision in store. And what's significant with winning the BlackBerry App of the Year award is that there are more than 100,000, in fact, 120,000 BlackBerry apps in the BlackBerry World App Store. So for a South African app to rise to the top of that is very significant. For South Africa, the significance is that BlackBerry remains the top smartphone platform in this country. Probably half of all smartphones are still BlackBerry in South Africa.
Yeah. It really does matter where we're looking at a very competitive space. We're looking at a fast changing space where technology changes before you can blink. But the significance of something like this, one would assume, for players within the industry and developing applications, is that it gives you a sense of what the South African consumer is after in the first place and what kind of apps you need to be looking to develop further moving forward.
Yes, very much so. Clearly you don't want to copy the award-winning apps because they've captured a niche in the market. But there clearly is a great need for apps that help people make their decisions. My ideal app would be one that tells me, for example, what's the best prepaid SIM deal in any country in which I land at the moment I land, to save me from having to use any more data.
You better start working on it before someone else now takes on your idea.
I'm sure someone must be working on it. There are websites that do that, but I haven't yet found an app that does it effectively. So that just indicates that in an area where there's great need, there still is opportunity as well. And I'm sure someone who's a specialist on any specific area will be able to identify big gaps that still remain in the market.
What about the intellectual property aspect? So does the person who thinks of this idea go to BlackBerry and say, how does it actually work? And then how does that person keep control? Because obviously intellectual property is a difficult thing to manage at the best of times with any technology. Yes. With this technology where it's so fast and so easily copied, you've got to protect your IP.
There's no question, and the only protection is to move fast, to be clever about what you're doing, and to build barriers of entry into what you're doing. And the best barrier to entry is continual innovation. You can't release an app and then expect that app to remain as is in a market leading position. It's not going to. Someone is at least going to copy it if it's successful, or they're going to move ahead of where you are. So if you're continually innovating and you start off with having great ideas of what the app can do in the future and can continue evolving it towards that, that's the only way to really protect your intellectual property.
Will this person make a lot of money out of PriceCheck?
Potentially, yes. The real potential of PriceCheck is for companies to advertise on it and to also pay to have their products highlighted, sort of like Google search, where you pay for your ad or your result to come up as number one, regardless of whether it is the most relevant find, or on Twitter with promoted tweets, for example. Same kind of thing. There's huge potential if they get high traffic to this app as they do to their website, then the potential for advertising is huge. And that's really the revenue stream there. Other apps would have different revenue streams.
So Arthur, we've established that there's an appetite for services. We've established that there's a potential to rake in profits as you move along, and as that application gains traction.
An appetite for apps with applications.
Your brain is thinking on another level this morning.
Apps and appetites.
Within that context, though, I mean, it's interesting that the number of risk takers I picked up on an article by Clem Santa remains small. So what's the deterrent?
The problem, if you are going into the business of developing apps, is that you have no idea what the uptake is going to be. So you have to have a high appetite for risk. And that's why most of the apps are in fact developed by development houses, companies that are already in the business of software development or app development. It's their business, and they're already generating revenue from doing it for clients. So they're in a position to develop apps without taking a risk of their livelihood, whereas the individual who's a developer, they call them garage app developers, is really risking time, livelihood, and the like. But the upside is huge. The upside is that you could come up with an app that you sell for $1 million, and then you've got it made. Not because of the $1 million, but because you then have a real track record.